Hey everybody, welcome back to my Project 13. Thanks for coming on by and checking out the early morning vlog. Appreciate your time and your support. Today, you can order at 5 a.m. if you're watching this video after the fact and you've already ordered the iPhone SE 2nd Gen. A lot of you have been following the story for quite some time, ever since it was announced that there was the possibility that Apple would actually design and create the second generation to the iPhone SE. And I actually like the form factor, the design. It's a 4.7 inch IPS LCD Retina display in comparison to the 4.0 inch on the original iPhone SE first gen. And the corners on that device was really rounded. Well, it still is really rounded if you have it. I'm sure you can still purchase that somewhere out there in the smartphone world. But the newer design still has those rounded corners, but ever so slight. It's more rectangular shape, and it just looks a lot better. So 4.7 inch in comparison to the 4 inch, and so a little bit bigger. And I love a bigger phone, but for some reason I'm captivated by this little smartphone. It's going to have a lot of raw power underneath the hood, the Bionic A13 chipset. You can get the 64 gig, 128 or 256 with 3 gig of RAM. So you're going to have plenty of RAM, plenty of storage, depending on which one you're going to pick up. I mean, I had the iPhone 11 at 64 gigs and it was plenty. It was plenty. Stereo speakers, no headphone jack, IP67, water dust resistant. Let's see, what else? You're going to have a 12 megapixel rear cam, regular wide. I don't know if there's any way that you'll be able to shoot ultra wide pics or take ultra wide video with that rear camera. And we have a 1821 milliamp battery, so it's not even a 2000 milliamp battery. And I guess we'll see how that does over time as far as the YouTubers that are going to review this specific device. And again, I may bring it in and review it too. You know, the resale for me after a while, once I get bored, if I decide not to keep it, is that's always a positive with iPhones. So, you know, that's kind of a given. And yeah, so I mentioned it's got stereo speakers and no headphone jack. I did mention the camera, the 12 megapixel on the front. It's a 7 megapixel. And let me see what else. It's the display as far as the brightness, 625 nits, which is actually really good. I've seen a lot of smartphones in the budget, mid-range that have like a right around that 500 nits. So over 600 should be a pretty bright display. And so for me, you know, I wear glasses, and that's usually why I like a bigger smartphone too, because it's a lot easier to see everything. But I know that you can change the text size, so that shouldn't be a problem. And the colors, red, white, and black. I think I would get the white. I had the iPhone 11 product red, so I'd probably want to get something a little different. By the way, the battery's not removable, but we all know that by now. You do have QI wireless charging. I'm just trying to throw out all these specs as I'm remembering them. And you have that fingerprint reader that's on the front-mounted fingerprint reader. That little circular area down at the bottom that a lot of you just love. A lot of you iPhone users dig. That's aesthetically, that design and that easy access to get into your phone. You know, as far as using facial recognition, that's not something that was or has been adopted by a lot of Apple. I mean, you're using it, but it's not something you really dig. You know, statistically, you want that fingerprint reader, that front mounted fingerprint reader, to be on the front where it's going to be on the SE second gen, and it's there. So I think for a lot of you that's a positive, and I like that. I really like that design. I can't think of anything else to throw out there as far as specs. I know there's a lot that I'm missing, but you know, as a whole, as what's being thrown out to the public from Apple with the iPhone SE second gen, it's a win. I see it as a huge win, not just because everybody else is seeing it. I just do, and it's for anybody, whether you're young, whether you're middle-aged or you're old. This smartphone is going to be for anyone, not just for one specific type of person. Whether you want it as your daily driver, whether you want it as a backup, maybe that's the ecosystem that you've totally settled into, that Apple ecosystem. I don't know, but I just don't see this being for one specific type of person. At 400 smacks, I didn't even mention that, right? $399.99. Right now, with what is out there and how much raw power this device is going to have underneath the hood, and that iOS experience that's always been a smooth one, it's a win. It really, really is. And it's a nice design. I like the design. So let me know if you're going to pick one up. If you're watching this after 5 a.m., let me know if you've already pre-ordered yours. And yeah, I'll let you know if I end up picking one up myself.